Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We are AutoSave. Welcome to our
Today
channel.
we're watching Steins Gate, Season 1, Episode 18. Last episode, we changed the D-mail.
Yes, we did. Ferris's D-mail.
Yeah. Specifically. Episode after episode, I'm just getting, like drop-kicked in the heart. I didn't even, expect it from Ferris's. I was so shook last episode when we found out that, it was as serious as it was in terms of, people chasing after her. They started beating the shit out of Kiyoma, and I was very caught off guard.
See, that caught me off guard, but I almost think it prepared me for the seriousness of what it actually was that Ferris had changed.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think of it as whatever she changed. I thought maybe just make her dad be home more or something. Him not take a job offer or not start a project that would have him away from home more often. But I didn't go in the serious direction of death.
Yeah. The whole never break a promise to her again and the fake ransom. It was a lot heavier than I anticipated, but I'm left with one question from last episode, and that's, does Ferris have any inkling of the other world lines? We were talking a bit about it last discussion, because I don't think she does, because she couldn't, and if she did know, it would drive her mad like it did last episode. But she still had the line at the end of last episode about a dream where they fought darkness together.
Yeah. I think possibly we're split on that, or maybe I'm leaning more towards she has some memories of it, and that's why that interaction happens, and those specific words that she uses to Kiyoma, even though it's in front of other people, it's kind of like an inside joke. Only you and I will know this. That was the energy of it when I was watching it.
Maybe it's just specific language so that it's meant to be left ambiguous, and it's poetic in a sense where you don't really know, but it's just kind of up in the air for interpretation. But I don't know. I'm ready to get into the next episode. I just want to be happy,
I don't honestly, I am so sorry to say this. I don't think the next episode is going to make you happy. I have a bad feeling that we are also going to have to change another D-mail in this episode, and I don't think it's going to make us very happy.
You think it's going to be Ruka's?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Heavy way to open it.
But also just, how do you approach someone and say that without the person immediately reacting what are you talking about?
Yeah, this again?
Androgynous.
I like the start, the vibe, the energy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I love how receptive Kurisu is in each world line to learning this new information.
But that also feels...
True.
Ferris got to make the choice herself to let it happen. Is Ruka so emotional because Ruka actually has memories of being true?
I could see it. I'm nervous. I am loving my life right now.
Maybe you will be happy this episode. Date.
I'm so happy.
I mean, he thought Ruko was cute before.
Yeah. Those are both good guesses. I love this world line. I never want to leave.
They should have suspected that Daru was there.
I believe it.
These are all in a dating sim.
Honestly, you should follow Daru's advice. It's better than nothing.
This is good research. Would he really wear a different outfit though?
That's true. I agree. Aww. Yes. No.
Did you see this like poor man that was trying to enjoy his food?
I think in the dub they said normies.
How is Ruka gonna react?
Smooth.
Does he know that he didn't know this?
I love that Karisu's also going to be able to like see what happens on the date.
Like how much is she going out of like jealousy, curiosity?
Like the date doesn't need to be successful necessarily. Oh my god.
Do you hear his voice?
So delicate. Subtly.
Subtly. You're ruining it. What the voice actor is doing is so
amazing.
Good. Did no one tell Mayuri about this? Did no one tell her?
Aww. This is Kiyoma's memory, right?
Uh-huh.
So she does remember it.
That or the Ruka in every world line feels that way.
Yes.
With someone. Didn't even recognize him, not in the lab coat. He's gonna give Ruka a real date?
The date isn't over. The lab coat's back.
He has spread his wings.
Love the instrumental. Oh.
Remember me.
Holy shit, the writing. To bring that back in this way. Okay, that was Steins Gate, Season 1, Episode 18. I really, really, really enjoyed that episode. I like, don't get me wrong, it was emotional and sad in its own right, but I thought that it was written really, really well.
I almost feel like it had a more positive, warm feeling to its sadness, and I think that would be due to the fact that we've already kind of done a hard thing with undoing the D-mails. We've already kind of broken into this and done the first step of kind of hurting the people around us, I guess. And with Ferris's reaction and that was the beginning of undoing things, and also of the glimpses of people retaining memories from other world lines.
I wonder if it's people retaining memories or somehow Kiyoma's ability or Kiyoma's presence in between world lines helps unlock that. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a combination of both.
Right. But I feel like that definitely kind of pushed us into the pool, into the deep end, with how much this was going to kind of intricately suck emotionally to do this to people. Obviously, these wishes that are basically life and death, but also like way of life, how you feel about yourself, how you wish you were. Those are really, really heavy topics, and I think I was able to have a warmer feeling with this emotionally because of us already, dipping our toe in and getting like Ferris. Well, actually, it's more like being thrown into the deep end than dipping your toe in. But like with Ferris's D-mail being undone. So then I was able to like have this feeling with Ruka is that it's like, this is sad, but there's almost something warm to this interaction that we're getting, and I don't know.
Yeah, I also think that like the way the show's written has given us so much context before anything severe or crazy emotional happened that we're able to take our characters and put them in like completely different settings than what we're used to, of the whole like, oh, romance, Karisu's like might be a little jealous, Daru is himself, let's like tail Kiyoma, like feed him information via like, it's like I don't know, it's like I love how easily this show can go in any direction and lean on its humor to be able to like, I don't know, balance the humor and the emotions. Like it's just really well done. I think above all else though, but the thing that makes me feel like they're able to do such a good job in whatever direction they go in is the voice acting. Like it's so fucking good. Whether
Okabe's voice acting in this episode was so spot on for a nervous guy that's never been on a date before, but specifically him being nervous, because he's never nervous when he talks to people. He's sometimes very like bold with how he talks to people, and this was a change of pace. Yeah,
sometimes I'll watch like clips of the voice actors in booth recording their lines, and this is a show that I would love to do that with. I feel like they must be completely in character and have like intense notes of what tone to use, because like the back and forths are always so great. Everybody, like, it's one thing...
How quick to come in after another person's line.
But that can be chalked up to editing, right? The thing that can't be is, like, the direction of tone. Like, to be able to have every piece and character and voice fit in so perfectly, it makes you feel like they were all recording it in the same room, even if they weren't. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just so well directed. It's amazing. I think the voice acting is one of my favorite things about the show.
Yeah. I was definitely impressed with it. There were a few moments in this episode that had this almost slice of life feeling with the music.
Yeah.
It was very soft, not very tense or tragic as some of the previous episodes have been, where we've been witness to Mayuri dying.
Yeah.
And so this episode definitely, I think both what Okabe is choosing to do in this episode and also how it's edited and how it flows and how the tone is fit together perfectly, because especially with his like decision at the end to give her a date with the real him.
Yeah.
It's that whole feeling of this is the last chance. This is a moment that this person is asking for before their whole being is almost uprooted and changed, something that like they want so badly about themselves, all in order to save someone's life. But you can't deny that they are also a person too. Like Ruka is also a person with feelings and desires, and obviously Mayuri living is a great thing, and that's the same thing Ferris felt. Like obviously we want Mayuri to live.
That's the priority for everybody, right?
But to give both, Ferris wanted like a minute, she wanted a little bit of time with Okabe before it happened. Here we have Ruka wanting that same thing, and Okabe being like, yeah, you deserve me to be myself with you and to have a good time together before I almost feel like a villain. Yeah.
I want to read some of the lines towards the end of the episode when Ocarine was talking like specifically about we've heard these lines before, not these exact ones that I'm going to start reading, but when we get there. But I thought that it was written really, really well. Even if you go back to being a guy, you'll still be Rukako to me. Nothing will change. That's right. It doesn't matter if I'm a girl or a guy, does it? But just for a little while, please remember me when I was a girl. And then I think this is when it starts, like the narration of Kiyoma, when he says, I'll never forget it. And then he starts saying these words that I think we were given in episode, 3, maybe even 2.
We met
episode 2, I think.
We met Ruka like pretty early on.
Yeah, and like it's the same descriptors, I believe, like of Ruka being more feminine than any woman, but she's a guy.
I think it's so compelling that no matter how many world lines, it's not like multiverse where they're totally different people and totally look different when you go to different world lines. It's Kurisu asks Okabe in this episode if Ruka looks completely different as a guy. And I think valid question for her to ask with no knowledge of it, but I think it's so compelling that there are only these real subtle changes in things around them, in their surroundings or situations they're in.
Yeah.
But nothing about the people's personalities, their feelings, their hearts is changing.
Yeah.
Like, Ruka's heart is not changing.
I love that nothing has really changed for Ruka other than the gender aspect of it. They're still the same person regardless of that.
It's just the unfortunate thing at the end that seems to be changed from one to the other is, I believe Ruka, when Ruka's still a girl, says that when they're a guy, they're going to have to bury these feelings again.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the change, is that Ruka's heart isn't changing, but what Ruka feels like they have to do with their feelings and emotions changes.
Yeah. There was a comment from Ferris, I believe, earlier this episode about how Kiyoma has dealings with a lot of girls, typically. And, like, I get, like, the bit for that. But at the same time, Kiyoma has a lot of very, like, important relationships with his female friends.
Daru was playing a dating sim type game in this episode. Okabe, his life is one.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, damn.
I mean, like, I know Suzuha was his best friend's daughter from the future, but, like, that also in a game wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Like, if you, like, leaned into the dating sim aspect of it, yeah. I get you. I miss Suzuha so much. I loved the conversations, like, American virgin, like, versus, like, just, oh, yeah, a regular virgin.
It's very specific. It's very, like, they're different.
Yeah. We also got a little, I don't know if I can, like, really nail it down as a fact, but I wrote it down that, Kiyoma was born with an IQ of 170, the same as Isaac Newton. Yeah. I loved it. Do you think that Daru's dating sim knowledge will ever come in handy? Maybe with Suzuha's mother one day, he'll use his dating cafe, H game knowledge and walkthroughs to be able to...
I could totally see Daru meeting this lady and trying a hideous pickup line.
Yeah.
Like the most gross, horrible pickup line ever, and this lady having such a good sense of humor that she just thinks it's hilarious.
Or it's like he has like a dating like a pickup line and it's like awful and cringy, but he stole it from a dating sim, and then the girl that he says it to is like, oh, was that from this game, this version, this line of dialogue?
Yeah, he might end up with someone that also plays
like a super
similar
fan
games.
Who is what he.
Then they'll want to go to May Queen together.
Yeah. They're like also a connoisseur of H material, just like Daru, you know. They appreciate the finer things, the finer arts.
I bet he's going to have a good life and a good future whenever he meets Suzuha's mom.
Yeah. So what do you think the first D-mail that they're referring to is? Is it the one that saved Kurisu's life, like her being killed?
So that's a big question mark for me.
It's like nerve-wracking, right? Because if that's the question, are you potentially killing Kurisu in order to save Mayuri?
Now that I think about it, narratively, it definitely would go in that direction. I wouldn't be surprised. And I was holding like, Moeka's D-mail. But now that I think about it, Moeka's D-mail probably hardly changed anything. It was just a test in order to see if they had a time machine and it worked. But that could be what you're trying to change.
What was hers? To change her phone?
Yeah. And so maybe that's the D-mail, because then CERN won't know that we've been able to figure out the time machine.
Oh, that's a good one.
So either one of those are like big narratively.
Yeah.
Because if we're going, who do you want to have die, Mary versus Kurisu Okabe, asking him that question, or CERN never finding out we have a working time machine to begin with, and us knowing that Moeka is suspicious and we shouldn't be, like, letting her in as a lab member.
See, if it was just, like, let's save Mayuri and that was our end goal here, we could, like, just worry about, okay, CERN doesn't know what we're doing. Stop. Don't go any further. But because of Suzaha's involvement in the story, we have that need to save the world, right? We can't just stop at making sure CERN doesn't know what we did. We need to successfully be able to change the world while keeping CERN at bay. Mm-hmm. It's complicated.
Right. I also have questions of why in this timeline that we're currently in with Ruka as a girl, she dropped the IBN. Do you think that this activity that she and Okabe do with the sword was only a thing that he did with Ruka when Ruka was a guy, and that inherently builds, like, muscle mass in your arm, and he could carry things, and then Ruka as a girl never did that with Okabe, and now can't carry things
whether
that are
it's
heavy?
From the training or not, like, that could be the, like...
Is that what they're trying to say? Is that
I don't know.
Ruka as a girl is more clumsy or less strong?
So when did they give us the line? I saw, like, I knew that it was, like, while Ruka was cleaning the storehouse. Did they say that she broke it or dropped it? What?
It was in our storehouse, but
I broke it. While I was cleaning the storehouse. So it's my fault. It doesn't say that she dropped it, right? Okay,
yeah, but that's what I was picturing, is that she was, like, moving things around in there. And I was like, is that what they're trying to say? Is that Ruka is a girl, like, doesn't lift heavy objects? Like, I don't know. I was just trying to figure it out. Because then we get the sword thing being the date that Okabe does with Ruka once Ruka kind of is aware of the other world line. So I'm like, is this an activity that they specifically did together when Ruka was a guy? Or was this something that, honestly, headcanon, Okabe probably had Ruka start doing this so that Ruka could fend off all of the, like, creepy people that were coming up to them.
That's so good. I would like to believe that as well. That being said, man, the fact that it was Ruka in this world line who broke it was such a big question mark to me that, like, somebody had to have come in and either taken it or broken it, like, that had ill intent. But the fact that, like, the butterfly effect, right? That changing one thing can change something else in a different world line with no malicious intent. It just, like, it happens.
But so when we go into this one, we get... Does Ruka break it in the one that we're now in at the end of the episode?
I wouldn't think so. All we get
is... I know, but then what happens to it? Do we still have it? We still have to undo a D-mail.
Good question. So, like, if at the end of this episode, instead, we got the ending of, like, Kiyoma being like, Ruka, do you have the IBN here? And we were given, like, a yes or no, instead of just, okay, next is the other D-mail,
and,
right?
Like, what if still Ruka broke it?
Yeah.
Or someone took it because of butterfly effect. Like, it's unpredictable what actually is going to be the circumstance, and that's why we're trying to get back to the original. We're trying to undo everything because everything else is so unpredictable.
Yeah. So, do you think that next episode we're going to get, like, we're going to be able to resolve the next email too? It seems like the past two we're doing, like, one episode at a time.
Possibly, but I also, like, I think that Moeka and Moeka's D-mail is a great place to go, but I feel like the series in itself, before ending, cannot forget that Kurisu was stabbed in the first episode.
The only reason I would think, like, we do see Kurisu at the end of the episode, like, one of the last people we see when Kiyoma's saying just one message left, you know? I don't know. If I'm completely honest, I don't 100% know for certain which D-mail is the last one. Whether it's, like, the Moeka instance, whether it was the lottery, whether it was Kurisu. I think it was Kurisu, though. I think that was the first, but I just feel
like we definitely
Upa,
need...
maybe.
We definitely need to have that come back into the narrative, at least in my, like, current opinion.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't just, like, have her be stabbed in the original world line and then never, like, have to deal with it again.
Yeah.
When you are trying to go back to that first one you were ever in.
Yeah.
So I'm really nervous about that. Because especially with the feelings of Kurisu in this episode of, like, definite jealousy, I guess, or, like, maybe starting to feel jealous or starting to be aware of a jealousy of, like, oh, Okabe going on a date with another person.
Yeah.
And we've gotten scenes of her being told that she's, like, his companion or something, and, like, she really latches onto that. And so the idea of ever having to decide who dies between the two.
Yeah. I'm, since Suzuha has left us, I've been, like, typically if I have, like, a favorite character in a show and they go away, they never leave my mind, and, like, I'll never have another favorite character that passes on to. But in the vein that I looked and loved Suzuha, I am, like, somehow that is being moved to Kurisu now. Like, every time I see Kurisu on screen now, like, I love her a little more than I used to because Suzuha's gone.
Gotcha.
Like, at the end when we saw Kurisu just holding the Dr. Pepper, I was like, hell yeah, you know? Alright, that's all I have you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.